The most important foundation of atheism as it reached its peak in the 19th century was Darwin's theory of evolution. Darwin proposed that the origin of man and all other living things could be explained by unconscious natural mechanisms. In that way, he offered a false explanation for the origins of life for which atheists had been unable to account for hundreds of years. In fact, embraced Darwin's theory, beginning with Marx, described the theory as lying at the heart of their. However, the major support of collapsed with the scientific discoveries of the 20th century. The evidence put forward by different branches of science, such as paleontology, biochemistry, and genetics, a number of directions. Darwin had maintained that all living species were descended from a common ancestor and had grown apart from one another in a series of small, progressive changes. Evidence for that claim. Throughout the 20th century present not one transitional species that might prove Darwin's theory was found. The phenomenon known as the Cambrian explosion is the theory of evolution. Almost all the basic emerged all of a sudden in that early geological period. Living things, vertebrates, arthropods, echinoderms with their very exceedingly complicated organs and systems at once. This fact that emerges from the fossil record demolishes the and is proof of creation instead. In putting his theory forward, Darwin based it on the idea of dog or horse. He then applied the changes to the whole of nature and suggested that all living things might have descended from one common ancestor in this way. In the light of the low level of the 20th century demolished it. Decades of different animal or plant species that variation within living things never went beyond specific genetic. Genetic experiments, on the other hand, showed that the mutation evolutionism could never add new genetic information, but that, on the contrary, effects carried out only yielded deformed individuals. In theory, life on Earth must So how did the Darwin failed to address that issue, contenting himself with writing easily have formed in some biologist who attempted to in Darwinism up all observations and experiments was impossible for a living inanimate. In the second half of the 20th and the complex organelles within it is full of the most complicated designs. Our eyes, with which no camera can possibly compare. Wings that inspired aeronautical technology. And systems within the living cell. The extraordinary information contained in DNA. All these are clear examples of creation. These scientific facts left Darwinism backed into a corner by the end of the 20th century. Scientists in many Western countries, particularly the United States, today reject Darwinism in favor of the fact of creation. The reason for that is that the scientific facts show that life did not emerge by chance. In short, science once again confirms the fact that